On my way back, you don't even know where I'm at. You don't even know where I'm at. I was at the Meadows, schooling Captain Incredible. I guess I'll start there. School Captain Incredible, 52. He was good, but maybe just a hair soft. Was it because he hadn't gone fast in over a week? Could have been a million things. You know, I said to Tim, I said, listen, he's always going to be able to win the classes. He fits now. I don't like that he feels flat-ish. You know, when we started him, he was a bull in a china shop. He was grabby, he wanted to go forward, you know, King Kong. And then that kind of dissipated a bit, but I don't think it's lameness. I don't think it's sickness. He's not interfering bad. Before, you had to watch him because he was a little shaky at times. Not anymore. He's just a nice horse that just isn't quite as good as we want him to be just yet. He's a 51, 52 pacer that we needed to pace 48, 49. Harness racing is full of horses like that. He's got a great attitude. He's a sophomore. He's a 3-year-old. He's got lots of racing ahead of him. And who knows? If he comes out and he's a great 4-year-old, well, that's how long it took. But with him, honestly, I just like to give him a few weeks off. Just leave him alone. I'd like to see King Kong come back. And it's not that he was bad. How could a horse school by himself? You know, there was some horses in there, but he immediately distanced himself from them within an eighth of a mile. How could a horse that schooled in 52 on his own steam, and I didn't stir him up or anything, how could he not be good? He's a good horse. But I would, as I said, like to see King Kong come back. So, you know, I'm not opposed to giving him a little bit of time off. I know the race office called down and said, you know, they were going to open the class up that he could get into. I said to Tim, we can't race him on Friday. It's impossible. Saturdays, he'd be tight. But, you know, I think we'll just as soon turn around the field. So I think that'll be the plan. Just give him a few weeks. I don't feel there's a necessity to push forward right now. What we need is the best available option, the best available horse in that skin. Those classes he fits now, he'll fit later, and he's as good or better than they are, and he'll get up against horses that are as good or better than he is. At some point, we'll give him an extended break and bring him back for his 4-year-old season. And although it's not ideal, it's certainly not what we wanted, we have to be able to pivot and say, okay, all right, what's best now? And I think that's what we're going to do with Captain Incredible. Now, earlier today, I went to Northfield. Had a little bit of a crappy surprise. I galloped on Lily at 10 to 8 or around 8, I guess, and trained Manhattan Money. They're both in Thursday. I didn't want to gallop Lily hard because she was in on Thursday. I did not. She seemed super comfortable, waiting for her blood to come back. It came back, and it wasn't the greatest. Few little points were high. Now, that ever pesky GGT was not super high. The high part of normal, maybe just inside the goalpost, so to speak. AST, same thing. But when I galloped her, we scoped her after, and she did show a little bit of mucus and redness and a little bit of blood. Probably been there. It's been a problem this summer. The allergies and the heat for Aunt Lily has been a problem. I don't think we're going to be able to race her on Thursday. I think she's going to have to miss this week, and not because of the training, moreover because of the blood. And you may say to yourself, and I'm like you, first thought that comes to my head is, why can't we get the blood right? Well, the blood's perfect for walking around, for jogging, for probably training. But it's not for racing. And these are not the only horses. You can go through every program or watch every race, and you're going to see horses that you just circle and say, that horse was not good today. That horse just was not. The program page does not match that performance. And there's tons of them everywhere. Now, what those trainers or owners do after the race is up to them. We choose to find out why. Because of the long weekend, we couldn't get the blood work back in time. We got it back today, and it just wasn't good. Now, Dr. Latessa didn't say, you have to scratch this filly, but he wasn't overly bubbly about the results either. Knowing, and there's a huge amount at stake, but if you go down there and race her off a poor performance with blood that is poor, not horrible, not unfixable, not this is a long-term thing, but poor, then you're going to find more poor results. You know that, and I know that. So that is kind of how I started my day, with a little frustration over the Lily, especially since what the blood showed was not what I felt when I galloped her. I only went a mile at 2:12, which is very slow galloping. But she felt very comfortable. So maybe her blood was much worse and it's improving, because she felt good today. But feeling good is one thing, but you're asking her to overcome what I looked at on paper today and then defeat other horses of similar ability right now. It's not logical, and it's not something that makes any sense to me. So we're probably going to move, or that will be up to Jason and Dr. Latessa, but from my standpoint, I would suggest that we don't race her on Thursday. Manhattan Money trained good. We didn't draw his blood because he raced good the other day. Seems we're eventually going to race this horse without hobbles on. I'm almost tempted to Thursday. At some point, Manhattan Money will shed those hobbles. He trained very, very good today with them on. Gets over the half good, which is so surprising for the size of him. And now the sole card, our sole lineup on Thursday night in Southern Ohio revolves around him. So we got to have him very, very good for Thursday evening. So that is what took place this morning so far. I trained... talk later. I trained Manhattan Money. He was good. I galloped Mount Lily. I thought she was good, but turns out she might have been good this morning. But the blood work we were looking at is not satisfactory. So she will be likely scratched on Thursday. And then Captain Incredible actually did school fast and good. Just maybe a hair flat. Wasn't super thrilled with the way he felt. It was like 52 and 2, 28 on the end of it. Well, with his gait, his power, his speed, the way he can pick it up, I would have expected 52-27 on the end of it, or 51 and a piece. I wanted to go a good mile with him. I wanted to see what was going on at top speed, and that's mechanically as good as he's going to be right now. I think he was really good. Just health-wise, he just seemed a little flat. So that's pretty much what's going on right now at the barn, is just assessing and reassessing a number of our horses. We'll have some horses that will be going into the sale on Monday with Preferred. You know that He's a Fearless Peter and Steph's Hope for sure are going to be going in there. A number of other horses that I talked about riding the rodeo will be in that sale also, and a couple other horses. I think somewhere between 5 and 7 will end up going in the sale on Monday. So I will talk about that sale maybe later on today when I've thought a little bit more about it. But those 3 horses for sure are in it as of right now. Now, when it comes to the sales, the actual yearling sales coming up, I know I told you the buckets will be up today. A couple of people have emailed me. I was just leaving that window open just another 24 hours just to let people tell me what they think. I don't want to put the buckets up and realize that I made a mistake. So I'm taking last year's buckets into account, some of the feedback we got from them, some of the feedback we're getting now. I will tell you that we're likely trending towards what I wanted to do, which was to have a flyer bucket, and that would be probably $40,000 or $50,000, and it would probably have maybe let's call it 40 to 60 with 3 to 4 horses in it. That's what I'm envisioning for a flyer bucket. Trotting fillies are always popular, and almost everybody that has messaged me has been intrigued by the trotting fillies. So I would say there's no need to call it a top bucket with fillies in it. We'll just call it trotting fillies. And it will likely be, I'm going to say 60 to 80,000. And it might have 2 horses in there. And then we'll have that main bucket. That will again be probably, I'm going to say roughly 80 to 100,000. That will have 4 or 5 horses in there. Now, if we do it that way, you're looking at 10 or 12 Ohio breds. We already have 4 to come in, which is somewhere, last year I think we had 17 or 18. I think it makes the most sense to do it in that fashion. There's a lot of quality horses in the sale, but as I've spoke to a number of our clients about, a lot of nice horses that look very interesting, but none that jump out of the page and say, this horse is going to go for a fortune. I guess that's not true. There are some horses on paper look that way, but how will they look at the sale, and will they actually, get up into 6 figures? I don't see a ton of them, but I see a lot of very, very intriguing horses. A lot of pedigrees that we know also, and a couple of pedigrees from the not too distant past in our barn, and their siblings look very, very nice this year also. I looked at I'm Fancy Like's brother. He's a roan. He looks good. And Purple Oris. I can't remember if it's a filly or a colt. I remember the video though. Very, very good looking horse also. So there's 2 to name a couple, but a number of horses. It was funny because I talked to you about how our partner, our client, and your partner, David, from Australia, he's been doing all this AI research and putting all these catalogs into an AI program that he created. And his top two picks generated for the Ohio sale are both on my top 5 list. Both of them. So that was intriguing. That was pretty cool to see. I have my own little quiet top 5, top 10 list, pre-sale list. And 2 of those horses in that top 5 right now are on his, the way he had put it was just bluntly must-haves. So that was cool. Anyway, we have horses racing tonight. Obviously, we are going to be busy at Northfield Park tonight with, I know we have Winter Soldier in tonight. We have Blue Ventura, Diosa della Donza, and He's a Fearless Peter. Always interested to see those horses go behind the gate. And most definitely, He's a Fearless Peter. This will be his last start for us. Win, lose, or draw. I think this will be it for him. Diosa della Donza looking for a bounce-back race from a break in Scioto Downs. Blue Ventura just looking to get him back in the swing of things. At Northfield, the nominators of 7, I believe. And Winter Soldier, I had a great email the other day. Somebody messaged me and said, Anthony, why are we racing this horse in the Open? Do you not think the Open's a little tough for him? So, I'll address this 2 different ways. He's racing in the Open because we bought him to fit the nominators at 8,000, I think, which is nominators at 10 life. And he fits that for 3 more wins. And that's where he was entered. And the race secretary called and said the nominators at 8 and the nominators at 10 are not going to fill. If you want to race Winter Soldier, you're going to have to race him from the inside in the Open. Or he's not going to get in. Now, we could have said, just don't put him in, and we could have brought him to Scioto. We could have looked for a class at the Meadows. They're combining all their trots also this week. Or we could just do what was right. Just say, yeah, I don't mind racing him in the Open, I guess. But I did make it clear, if I win the Open, he still goes in the nominators at 8,000 next week. Don't say he can't get in there because he won the Open this week, or just that's a no-go. Because he still does fit it after this week. Now that's the first part. He is in the Open because his other classes did not fill. So there were 2 options in that regard. Race him in the Open or don't race him at all. That was it. And keep in mind, you can't just pivot and say, well, why didn't we go to Scioto? They'd already drawn his class. They already drew his class. They were drawing his class. So now to get in at the Meadows, we would have to not enter him at Scioto and hope that they filled those classes at the Meadows, which they did not. So it was the open or nothing. That's what was happening. Now the second part, do you think he's good enough? Well, considering that the horses he raced against his last start at the Meadows are infinitely better than the ones he's going to face at the Northfield this week and maybe for quite a while, then yeah, I think he'll be okay. Keep in mind, this horse wasn't some non-winners of 3 bouncing around Philadelphia or the Poconos. This was a horse that raced in the Grand Circuit since he was a baby. Won an elimination of the Wellwood. And raced in the Vincennes, trotting in 52-1 his last start before we bought him. So is he good enough? Well, as of right now, he's overqualified for the race, is how I put it. So yeah, he's good enough. That's where we bought him. We didn't buy him to stay at Northfield because there was no certainty that he could get around a half. It was only after we got him here did we realize, yeah, he can get around a half pretty good. So that's why he's here tonight. So with Winter Soldier, here's another horse too. We're battling a little bit of a high GGT with him, right on the cusp of high normal. Something tells me though, that's not a new thing for him. I heard some rumblings that his liver might have always been something they had to deal with. So if that's the case, then we got it in pretty good shape, actually. So good night tonight. It looks like money tomorrow. I don't know who put him second favorite, but I just don't see that happening at all. If he is anywhere near the horse he's been all year, and when I drove him, there isn't a horse in that race wants any part of him tomorrow. I'm going to tell you that right now. And then Delicious Stone DK, I gave Dominic the option. Well, Dahmer, he's a goer. He said, just put him in the 15 again. I said, I just want you to take a deep breath. And I'm going to tell you something very seriously that I think you should take into account. If you put him in that 15 again, I can almost guarantee you the start of the Flamborough meet, I don't think you're going to get a start before he's claimed. But if he goes out and races well and a half, which he will, you're absolutely going to lose him next week. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just merely going to throw it out there. Can he do in any other class? Otherwise, you may as well send him to the track with an older halter because he is going to be claimed for sure. So he said, yeah, he can probably do in the 25. Now, I think he's probably right because he drew the 8-hole. Another horse draws great in our barn. Now, luckily, he's been in where it didn't matter. He drew 8 last time, didn't he? 7, something like that. He drew the 8-hole at Flamborough, and he's 7-2 in the 25,000 class. Now, I will tell you this. If he can do in this 25,000 class at Flamborough, he is going to put together one tremendous 2025. I can tell you that. Because there's going to be nobody claiming for 25. And it will be, he'll have carte blanche all fall long. So, I hope the reports and the results are good out of the 25 because that would be a free ticket almost for the rest of the year. So that's all we have up right now. We have a number of horses that are entered. I know Gorgeous Package is entered for Friday. I know that Cherry's Girl drew in Philadelphia. I asked my brother to go drive him. He just gave me some excuse why he couldn't, which is fine. Amy's away this week, so I am playing Mom and Dad. So I don't think I can go to Philadelphia, even if I wanted to on Friday. I don't think I can go to Philadelphia. So Mike Wilder might not be in there. I know he's over there. He may not be in the final. If he's not, then he can most definitely drive her. Just somebody that knows her, somebody that's going to race her, and somebody that I can talk to one-on-one and just say, this is what she does, this is what you got to be on the lookout for, you know, let her rock type thing. It's not an easy race. There's horses in there that make good money all year, and I think she's going to have a good rest of 2025, but is she going to slide down there and crush them? No. She might win. Wouldn't shock me. But she's certainly not going to be a layover. Anyway, that is your video for the day. You only have a mere couple hours left before I post those buckets. If you are interested in giving some input, some feedback as to what you'd like to see in the buckets, that's fine. I think I'd just like to keep it easy. Trotting fillies, because that's what a lot of people are after. Main bucket, we'll have trotting colts. Might have a pacer in there too, but mostly trotting colts. And then that flyer bucket. Yeah, that covers everything for the most part. Should cover everybody. If we can pick up 9, 10, or 11 babies at Ohio, we have 4 more coming into the field. 15's a good number, isn't it? For the state of Ohio thus far. Last year we picked up one of our better Ohio breds in the Lexington sale also. So that door is still always open. So is Harrisburg. If we leave the Ohio Select sale with 15 Ohio breds in our barn, I think that's a good start to the year. I believe so. Anyway, there you have it. I believe you're completely up to date with respect to everybody. I am happy with, I guess I'm disappointed that it looks like Aunt Lily's not going to get the race on Thursday, so that's a disappointing start to the day. And the fact that Captain Incredible, he schooled good, but could probably use a few weeks in the field. I guess that also is not great. But neither are lame, and neither have any affliction that will cause them any sort of issues down the road. Manhattan Money Train, good. Anyway, I'll talk to you all very soon. A very difficult part of the year where there's a lot of transitions going on. We have Jug Week coming up. For those who are wondering, yes, we have a number of horses going that you're going to see at Jug Week. Speaking of Cherry's girl, she's going to be in the Standardbred. Rico Tubbs, I believe, will be in the Standardbred. We have horses racing in the Buckeye all week. Royal Duchess will be racing in the fair race during Jug Week. Gorgeous Package will race somewhere between a Buckeye, Sire Stake, fair, I don't know. She'll be racing Jug Week. And all of our Ohio breds that are currently racing will be racing on Jug Week also, except for the horses that were just Tomboy Strong, I guess, raced in the last Sire Stake. And I don't think we'll race her in their breeders unless her blood comes back tomorrow and you're like, oh wow, that's something we got to work on. In which case, I guess that door will be left open also. So there you have it. Complete breakdown of everything that took place today, what's going on tonight, what's going on the rest of the week, what's going on with our horses. I hope you guys are having a great start to your shortened week. We'll talk to you all very soon.